Monday Night Wars podcast.
Hello and welcome to another edition.
That's
What
my
is
dog.
going on?
That's my dog barking in the
Right as I start.
Probably won't pick it up on the mic,
God.
but she is going crazy back there.
Yeah. Anyways, hello and welcome to another edition of the Monday Night Wars. It is September 1st, 1997. We've got a special short episode here for you. Well, I assume it's going to be short.
I think it's another very short for two reasons. But why don't you tell us the first one and I'll tell us the second one.
Reason number one is Raw is still preempted, so all we got is WCW tonight.
Yes.
And I will say before we get into the second part, it is in Pensacola, Florida at the Pensacola Civic Center. And the second reason is Joseph deleted all his notes.
I did, 100%. I vaguely remember what happened. I did watch this very recently, so I will go through as much as I can, but I would not be surprised if this episode was like 20 minutes. I mean, really, it's going to be pretty short. I will let you know I have Scott's Blog of Doom, which is not Scott Kaufman, Scott, another gentleman.
Okay.
And so I've got the play-by-play there. I'm not going to read his notes note for note because that would be wild and absolutely inappropriate. But it's given me a refresher so I can kind of accurately talk about what's going on. And some of these matches, I remember specifically because this is the second of 2 straight weeks that Nitro has been by itself. Right, we had it last week, and it was pretty good. I think Nitro was overall pretty good last week, and then obviously they won because they were by themselves. And then they had this week, and last week we made the joke of like surely they should win, right? But I do think they were a pretty decent show, all things considered, and then they obviously won. This week, I distinctly remember going, "Wow, second straight week, and this episode is a fucking snooze fest." So I remember that, and we'll get through it as we go. But yes, it'll be a lot of me going, "What happened on this one?" and kind of remembering. But in case you're worried, 9-8, which is next week, I definitely have those notes. They're just labeled 9-1 right now. So totally.
You saved over all of them.
I did. So this is going to be an interesting journey for both of us. But I think turnabout's fair play, right? Because there was a week. It was the 100th episode when you had no notes and I made you go through it. So this is kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
But
that was on purpose. That was by design. Well, let's get into it. I've also, just out of curiosity, opened Scott's Blog of Doom. So I have that too as well, so I can follow along with you as you follow along with him. Anyways, let's get started because as I know, and you don't know, but Scott's Blog of Doom also knows, is we recap with Arn. We got an Arn Anderson tribute to start the show. Which is very nice. It's very nice. Nothing negative will happen to Arn tonight.
Not at all.
It's all very beautiful.
Yes.
We have vignettes throughout the night of Arn and Arn's legacy, and it's very nice. And we start off with a really nice tribute.
It is.
You probably don't have anything to say about it.
I don't have any notes, but I do remember specifically this. This is one of the better WCW vignettes. A lot of their vignettes are kind of like thrown together. It looks like they went, look, this is Arn Anderson, one of the pillars of WCW and, kind of the NWA South, that kind of whole region. Like, we really need to give him a good send-off. This is a beautiful package. It is very well done. It shows his biggest moments in WCW. I think it talks about, I believe he was TV title champion for like 2 years. Like, it goes really into like not only his being of the Four Horsemen, but on top of that, also his singles career. And it really is a very good send-off. So if you guys remember last week, Arn Anderson kind of officially retired. He gave his spot to Kurt Hennig. It was a beautiful moment. Ric Flair was crying. He was, a complete mess. It's a very, very beautiful moment. And then this week they say, we're going to give this to Arn. We're going to dedicate this episode to Arn. It's good. I like it. This is by far the best WCW vignette they've had. A lot of their vignettes are either Hogan and Rodman based, which is wild, or they're just like, they just feel like whoever was making them didn't really know what the story was in general, so they're just throwing clips together. This one was very clear. It was very obvious what they were doing. I really enjoyed this. I think it's a great send-off for Arn, much like the rest of this episode will be, which is dedicated to Arn Anderson.
Yes. They mentioned this is a 3-hour episode. So we've got another one. This is another one of the 3-hour episodes.
That's
Eventually
right.
we go permanently to 3 hours.
That's wild that this is the one I lost notes on.
Yes. It's going to be a marathon, buddy, but we're going to do it. Anyways, it's a special 3 hours of Arn. And then the vignette package I should mention ends with a clip of Kurt Hennig taking Arn's spot on the Four Horsemen, because Kurt Hennig is totally, completely a horseman and in no way, shape, or form affiliated with the NWO. So that's beautiful. I'm so glad. And that gets us to our first match, which I'm excited to see how this goes, because we got Chris Benoit, Steve Mongo McMichael versus Eddie Guerrero and Jeffrey Jarrett. Joseph, tell me what happens.
So even though I am using Scott's blog of doom, it's really just to remind me of what happened, because I did actually watch this, and I just don't have my notes. This was a very interesting one. I remember writing this in my notes, because this is not the second straight week we've had this match, but really the second straight week we've kind of had this match up, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, where they Eddie Guerrero and Jeff Jarrett last week, they did a really cool double team move. It was the figure 4 leg drop mixed with the 5-star frog splash. They try it again this week. It doesn't work. Chris Benoit and Steve McMichael, they have they've scouted it. Basically, they know it's coming. They reverse it. They turn it into their own win, and they get a big win. On top of that, this is the Arn Anderson show. These are 2 Four Horsemen. It makes a lot of sense for me. I remember enjoying this one quite a bit. I am going to give this one a B. I don't know how many of these I'll grade, because obviously I don't have my notes with me, but I do remember this one. It was very well done. Everyone did a very good job here. Even Steve Mongo McMichael, who we're not high on as a wrestler, love him as a commentator, but he, I think he realized, I got to do this for Arn. And again, what could go wrong tonight? This is all centered around the memory of Arn Anderson's in-ring career.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
But then the NWO come out. Not this one. It's not this one.
No.
NWO do come out.
Yes.
It's Savage and Hall and Miss Elizabeth, and they go to the commentary table. I guess I'm gonna tell more of this story than I normally do, since
that's
you're kind of out here. I'm because usually on a Macho Man one I kind of let it go, but I'm gonna tell this one. They go to really this serves kind of 2 purposes. It's really to kind of continue the Larry NWO rivalry, because Tony is like, let's get out of here, and Larry says, nah, we're staying.
Yes.
And so
he does. Yeah. He forces them, in fact, and they're pretty scared. And he's like, no, I almost like he's saying, I'll defend you if it comes to that. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Zabisco is starting to really connect with the crowd. Yeah. Anyways, I'm sorry. Continue.
No, it's absolutely, jump in where you want to, where memories hit you, because that's fine with me, bro. But you're right. Yeah, this is really to push the Larry NWO rivalry. He's getting over with the crowd. People chanting Larry. Yeah. They're excited. They want this, and we want it. We don't really want it the way it finishes.
All
But
that's all
we
of
want it,
WCW.
in theory.
That's all of WCW. Yes. You're like, here's the thing that you want. We're like, yeah, and then they do it. We're like, not like that though.
Yeah, and then the other half of it is the hype, the main event. Savage and Hall have some choice words for DDP and Lex Luger, and that's really it. Move on to our next match.
I do like that he keeps because this is Labor Day, so happy Labor Day, everybody. Yes. Hope you have the day off work wherever you're listening to us. I do. I think you do, Scott. I'm pretty sure you have the day off work. So I'm pretty excited about that 3-day weekend, all that. But Scott Hall makes a point to mention that, because he defines themselves as the working man's champs, which is great. I will say this is part of Scott's blog of doom's notes, but I do remember this one, and it's fantastic, because they've been doing that for ever. And honestly, Kevin Nash is outside of the scope right now because he's injured. I'm saying that because I don't believe he's actually injured. And that's all my own take. That's not necessarily fact.
Mhm.
But Scott Hall is kind of continuing this tag team with Macho Man. So he keeps calling them the working man champs because they basically almost never defend, or when they do, it's against jobbers. And it's fantastic. I love that they do that. And then Labor Day is kind of the perfect holiday for him to mention that. So it's another fantastic Scott Hall segment. I unfortunately have none of my notes for Macho Man or anything he may say. So unfortunately, I can't do that. I'm not sick this week. I just can't do it.
But what you can do is give us all the nonstop action that is Silver King versus Mortis. You remember this one, or
I
do you need me to
do.
give you?
It's just another. So when they do 3-hour episodes, I do tend to, even in my notes, like skim through things. This is a skim through match. It's Silver King, who is not necessarily bad by any stretch, and Mortis, who obviously is the better of the two. We like Canyon, and they have a fine match. To be clear, they do have a decent match, but it's hard to get into. It's really hard to get into. Silver King has kind of been a nobody when it comes to the luchadors in comparison to the other members of that kind of luchador division, cruiserweight division. And Mortis, like, we love Mortis. I think we can both agree that we do really appreciate what he does. And really, when he becomes
Mhm.
Canyon and all that stuff, he invents so many moves. But it's difficult to like love this match. It's it's just the basic, like, Mortis wins. It's not quite a jobber match, to be clear, but it is like, whatever. And then we just kind of move on. So I think I gave this a C when I watched it.
Yeah, and it's 3 minutes 30 seconds, so not a total jobber match, but yeah, obviously Mortis was going to win
Yeah.
because this is also kind of to hype the pay per view
Mhm.
because immediately after Vandenberg, the
Oh God.
the
Yeah.
manager the manager
Yes.
for Mortis and Wrath, he gets on the mic and says, "Hey, Faces of Fear, why don't you come on down here? Let's get this going."
Yeah.
Faces of Fear does whoop Mortis and Wrath, which kind of seems like that's not what you
They
should
have
do.
been the entire time. It has been a very one-sided feud. So we
Yeah.
have definitely not taken notes on the pay-per-view yet. So I don't remember what
Mhm.
happens at it, but it has been one-sided as hell. Every match they've had, Faces of Fear has won. Every brawl they've had, Faces of Fear has won. It is absolutely one-sided. Like, what are we doing with that?
Yeah, this is a brawl that Mortis and Wrath lose
Yeah.
to Faces of Fear. They run off to the back. And that's to excite you to buy the Fall Brawl pay-per-view because you'll
Yeah.
see them in action there. We'll settle
Yeah.
this rivalry at Fall Brawl. How exciting. Then we get another Arn moment. I tried to write down a lot of the Arn moments. This was Bash at the Beach 1994. He turns on Dusty Rhodes and joins the Stud Stable. Apparently, that was an iconic moment that I don't remember because I wasn't watching at that point.
Yeah.
But they tell me it's important. After that, we get JJ Dillon, and he finally thinks he's pretty sure that he knows what Sting wants.
Yes.
And
Yes, it
that's the
is.
match. I'm joking. We've established JJ
Yeah.
Dillon does know that it's Hogan versus Sting, but Eric Bischoff, which I think this is how they should have played it the first time. Eric Bischoff is doing everything in his power to prevent it.
Mhm.
That's what this segment is. You got anything else you want to add about it?
Yeah, this is so unless I'm mistaken, this is the one where Bischoff is talking about, like, if Hogan wanted Sting, he could beat him at any point, blah, 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 but he's not gonna have this match. We get JJ Dillon on the phone. JJ Dillon starts telling us, like, he will do everything in his power to make sure it happens. Bischoff loses his mind. He's super upset about it. And then Sting shows up behind him, right? And
Yes.
he doesn't do the Scorpion Death Drop, which you'd think he would do. Instead, Bischoff grovels towards him, I believe. And then
Mhm.
we get this weird moment where, like, Sting pulls out a Hogan t-shirt, and, like, I think they didn't quite think this part through because he, like, shoves it into Bischoff's mouth, which is fine, but he takes a while to kind of decide to do that. And so it's like, oh, okay, I guess this is threatening. It's kind of weird, but at least we're finally getting forward momentum, right? We're finally starting to say,
Yeah.
okay, they are now acknowledging this is what he wants. They're going to make sure it's a thing. We're definitely going to see better moments going forward, but this one's kind of okay. It gets a C for me.
I feel like you're right. And, when you mentioned he doesn't Scorpion Death Drop him, and I think that was the mistake.
Yes,
So I feel like give him the Scorpion Death Drop and then drape the shirt
100%.
over his lifeless body and leave him there.
Yeah, that would have been perfect.
Yeah. It's easy. It's like poetry. It rhymes. We could book this. We could book this anytime we want. But could we book
Uh-huh.
Yuji Nagata, I got it, versus Dean Malenko? Could we?
I mean, this is a simple match. So this is not only is it a simple match, and that's not a knock on either wrestler. We obviously know that both wrestlers are good, but this is they're trying to do the Jeff Jarrett and Dean Malenko rivalry. So Jeff Jarrett interferes. Yuji Nagata gets the win off that. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. I gave this a C. It is what it is. They're building towards, are they, I don't remember if they're going to have a 1-on-1 or a 2v2 at the pay-per-view, but they're building towards that. The weird thing is, like, Jeff Jarrett's going to be leaving soon. So they're doing a lot of work with Jeff Jarrett that's really not going to pay dividends in any sort of way. Like, it's going to just kind of fall flat because Jeff Jarrett leaves. I think it's December. I think we've looked that up. And so it just kind of is what it is. Also, I feel like the rivalry was very clearly Eddie Guerrero and Dean Malenko, and then they've done Jeff Jarrett instead with Dean Malenko, but also Eddie Guerrero in it. And it's like, okay, Jeff Jarrett's rivalry was with Mongo. I don't know. And also on top of that, Dean Malenko and Mongo aren't stablemates. So why? I don't know. Who knows? Who knows, man? Who knows at this point?
Yeah, but you're right, because, Jeff interferes. Yuji Nagata gets the win off of Dean Malenko because of it. Yuji's celebrating. He's happy. He's done it. And we get, before our commercial break, another sweet message for Arn Anderson, this time from DDP, talking about how much he respects Arn. Again, very nice.
Yes.
Been a very nice night the whole time. Nothing bad will happen.
Absolutely.
Hour number 2. The Nitro girls are out. And there's also Nitro parties happening. Send in your tapes. That's exciting. But not as exciting as our next match, which is Ultimo Dragon versus La Parca. Tell me about it, Joseph.
Yeah, this is another very simple match. There's no real storyline in it, except for they do have, I believe, Sonny Ono is with La Parca. So, let me say that back. There is a storyline in it. It's just very weak, more than anything. They can't really commit to the Sonny Ono and versus Ultimo Dragon storyline. They keep kind of teasing it, and then they kind of pull back, and then they go back into it, and they pull back. I feel like this storyline goes on for months, and they never really just fully commit to like a blow off on this. I could be wrong, but we went through like the whole year of WCW and like it was still going on. It's fine. La Parca ends up bringing in a chair into the match, but he gets drop kicked back in his face. Ultimo Dragon gets the win. He's the chairman. Absolutely. You're right.
He's got
But it doesn't work though, Scott. It doesn't work. He's the chairman, but he loses. And Ultimo Dragon wins. It's a fine match. There's nothing wrong with it inherently. It gets a C from me.
Yes. And then Sonny Ono, after the match, Sonny Ono's saying, Ultimo, we're buddies, right? We're buddies. And he gets friggin' Dragon Sleeper. So that didn't go well.
Yeah.
But La Parca then gets his chair back. And Ultimo Dragon says, you know what? I'm good. I think I'm going to bounce.
Understandable.
Because he's, So he rolls out and we get another.
Yes.
Very sweet Arn montage. This time it's Starrcade 1985 that we got an Arn moment from Starrcade 1985. Very exciting. We go to commercial, and when we come back, we got the NWO, but not that segment yet.
No.
Because we got Buff Bagwell with Vincent versus the Iceman cometh himself, Glacier.
I distinctly remember this match for one specific reason. Buff Bagwell will win this match. Vincent interferes and he beats Glacier. He does, I think he calls it the blockbuster is his finisher. and he gets the
Big
win.
Show, yeah.
But what specifically I remember about this match is Buff Bagwell, and I don't know if this is Buff Bagwell's choice. Buff Bagwell obviously had a very big ego, especially once the NWO starts happening, and it's kind of documented. Obviously, I'm not like trying to shit on the guy. Like, it is what it is. A lot of wrestlers this time did, but I specifically remember in this match, he is actively mocking Glacier's gimmick, like burying the gimmick. He's making like martial arts, like kind of like motions and jokes and stuff. And the crowd is kind of eating it up. And the more they're eating it up, the more he's doing it. But really, all that does is make Glacier's entire existence pointless. And
Yeah.
it's kind of sad. It's kind of like, I get why he's doing it as a heel, to be clear. I'm not even knocking that. But it absolutely is destroying the last vestiges of any sort of momentum Glacier has. It's really bad. Again, this is just kind of a whatever match. It gets a C for me. There's really no storyline in it.
After that, we get another quick Arn moment. This time it's Larry Zbyszko talking
love
about
this one. I love this one.
Okay.
I don't have a lot to
This is Larry
say,
talking about
but I remember him just talking about what a professional that Arn is, and he does like Larry always does his kind of thing, right? And he does that towards the camera to Arn, and what he's really saying is like, I really do tip my hat to you. I respect you. When the old guy, like there's nothing wrong with Lex Luger at all, but when the old guys talk about Arn, there's so much reverence. I think Bobby Heenan has one as well, and Bobby Heenan is really good. Like we'll get there, and I won't spoil it because I do kind of remember a line that he says. But when the old guys talk about Arn, like there's just so much love and respect from them. And I don't even know if they were friends, but just from what he did for the business, like they definitely acknowledge that, and it's really good.
After that, we get a video package about Roddy Piper. Remember him?
Yes, there is. So actually, I do remember this package. It's not as good as the Arn one. This is kind of what I was talking about, right? Like they just have like random packages where like these vignettes where they just throw shit together. This is the Roddy Piper package. They just throw shit together. And if you read Scott's blog of doom, like I've got just to make sure I remember what happened.
We flip over.
His specifically says, meanwhile, let's take a look at the career of Roddy Piper for some reason. And that is the most apt way that you could ever talk about this. There is a reason for this. It will come into fruition, I believe, next week. There's a distinct reason, or it's either next week or it's the week after. It's going to, they need you to remember Roddy Piper for a reason. You just have no clue what it is right now. It doesn't make it good, to be clear. I still think it was bad. I think it's not nearly as good as the Arn package, but there is a reason for it.
Now it's time to discuss the match of the night. Everyone agrees. And it is Liz Mark Jr. versus Villano 4, and they do the thing, Joseph.
They do
Tell
the
me
thing.
about it.
I hate this match. They do the thing.
No.
They do the thing because so the thing that we're talking about, in case you somehow don't know, if you, which is wild if you've been listening to us for the entire time we've been on, they do the thing where they switch. Villano 4 switches with Villano 5. You've got a fresh man, but then it doesn't matter and Villano 5 loses.
That's true. Yeah.
Which, to be fair, is actually really funny if you play it up. If you play it up and you make it a comedy gimmick where even when they do this, it doesn't help them, fine. But we've seen it successfully work before. There's no reason for it to not work now. And that's what bugs me with this match. I remember giving this one a D. I was not a fan of it.
But they do the thing.
Yeah.
I agree with you that the whole point of doing the thing is so you win. But I do like at the end when they lose, they're like, no, he pinned Villano 5.
Yes.
That doesn't count.
Yeah. You're right. 100%. Yeah.
They do at least play the game a little bit. So I like, they're like, no, you're wrong. He didn't win. He pinned the wrong Villano. So I thought that I enjoyed that. After that, though, we get Mean Gene. And he's here to talk with Lex Luger. Lex has some nice things to say about Arn, but he also, and he's really there to talk about his match tonight with Diamond Dallas Page versus Randy Savage and Scott Hall. He wants to make peace with DDP. Apparently, they've had some issues. And so, let's bury the hatchet, man. What do you say? What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's fine. It's not his best promo. I just got to real quickly jump forward. So I'm trying to remember if
Mhm.
something happens in this episode or if it happens in a different episode. I believe. Oh, hold on. I found it. Let me see. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Okay, so they have already done the thing, I believe,
Uh-oh.
where DDP has diamond cuttered Lex Luger on accident. He was blinded. He diamond cuttered Lex Luger.
Yes.
And I believe they've done the return one where Lex Luger already torture racked DDP, kind of the same thing. Like he was blinded as well. So they're going into the storyline of like, can you guys coexist? DDP has said yes, they can. Lex Luger is saying yes, they can. And he feels they can still team up. They are projected to be at War Games and team up with whomever against the NWO. That is important to note in the oncoming weeks. There's a very specific reason why that's important to note. And they are still supposed to be able to coexist is the idea. Whether or not that works, we'll find out later on in the night. But that is what he's saying right now. And I think he says that he wants to talk to DDP and DDP does not talk back, which to be fair, DDP said the same thing. So,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole point is that Lex has found out, he's been told that he accidentally racked DDP.
Yes.
He wants to apologize. He doesn't want to get between them because they got to stay focused on their mission. He asked DDP to come out so they can make amends. DDP does not come out, which is exactly what happened last week or the week before when DDP wanted to apologize to Luger. So we got a thing here. But then we got a real thing because we got Arn. We had an Arn moment where he given Bobby Eaton a spine buster. So I know you'd love to see that. After that, though, we've got the Nitro girls. They're dancing. And Disco Inferno comes out to dance with them.
Mm-hmm.
He's back, Joseph.
Mm-hmm.
Aren't you excited?
Absolutely.
You were saying, where is Disco Inferno?
Huh?
He is back, ladies and gentlemen. I believe he's back from being fired.
Yes.
I think this is the moment. Yeah, he's back from being fired because he refused to drop the television title to Jacqueline. Is it the TV title or US title?
It was a TV title. It was not the US title. He's never had the US title up to this point, at least for sure.
To Jacqueline. So they fired him. And then apparently he said, no, I'll do it this time.
Yeah.
So he's back.
Yeah. Scott's blog of doom says, let's see, he couldn't get signed by the WWF and then came crawling back. I don't know if that's true. If that is true, Scott's blog of doom, fun fact, I did not know that. I do know, like you said, that he was fired. And that because he was fired for not wanting to, I don't know if it was dropping the title, but for sure putting over Jacqueline. He was supposed to lose to her for sure. I don't remember if title was involved, but he was supposed to lose to her and he said no. And then Bischoff said, okay, well, you're fired, which is the right thing to do when someone says they will not do a job. Just saying. Anyways, and then of course he brings him back. And now the thing is, and we're going to see this in the next few weeks. I don't know if it's immediate, but it will happen. He is going to start a feud with Jacqueline, and it's like, you have to do this thing we wanted you to do in the first place. So that will come to fruition. We are on the path to that. And I think, doesn't Alex Wright get involved in this?
Yes.
Yeah, because Alex Wright's been doing the same thing too, right? He's been kind of dancing with the Nitro girls too. So he's kind of upset about this. Like, what are you doing? Stealing my shtick, which I agree with. And Alex Wright is better at it.
He comes out and joins them because Alex Wright is a lover. He's a lover.
That's beautiful.
And he's like, let's all dance together. But Disco doesn't like his moves.
Oh.
And Alex takes great exception to this.
As he should.
A shoving match starts. Larry thinks this is all ridiculous. And then we get a match. We get Alex Wright versus Hugh Morris. Alex Wright is the current world television champion, and it's on the line, which I assume the whole point of this is to develop a rivalry between Disco Inferno and Alex Wright. So Disco Inferno can get the title back, and we can have that fun storyline I've already alluded to.
Yeah.
Boy, howdy. Tell me, Joseph.
But they do it in a weird way where they don't book it that way. Instead, Disco Inferno actually helps Alex Wright in this. And then Alex Wright gets the win against Hugh Morris, which is very strange. And I think they're going to do the same thing next week in reverse. So they kind of want this to be a rivalry, but they are also kind of putting them together. They can't really pick a lane in this situation. It's not very good. It is what it is. You obviously know I'm not a huge fan of Hugh Morris, but he is very good in the ring. So it's not a knock on Hugh Morris. It's just the knock on the fact that I absolutely despise Disco Inferno. And I don't like that they're doing our boy Alex Wright dirt like they are right now.
Do you think this is a tactical move that Disco fears Hugh Morris and he wants to face Alex Wright? I'm saying this because that's totally not it, because WCW isn't that clever.
Yeah.
But that would be the storyline that you would tell to explain what just happened.
Which they've tried to do with NWO and Harlem Heat, and they completely fumbled that storyline.
Speaking of Harlem Heat, we got Raven ringside now. I don't know. Raven is here.
Yeah.
Boy, howdy. I'm excited. Yeah. He's brooding with intensity as always. But that brings us to a moment you've already said you want to talk about. So I'm going to let you have it. We've got another Arn moment, this time with a Bobby Heenan. So tell me about this Bobby Heenan moment that you love.
Bobby Heenan, I'm going to paraphrase here, but I believe they gave everybody like 30 seconds to talk about Arn. And basically what he says is, there is no way in 30 seconds to tell how important Arn was to the industry and how much I admire him for it. He says it in a different way, but that is the gist of what he's saying. And it is a beautiful send-off. And he's getting choked up. He's like, Bobby Heenan very clearly loves wrestling. And he is very clearly emotionally affected by Arn having to retire. And really, not just having to retire, because retiring is one thing. Arn's being forced to retire. His body is telling him it is impossible to go on. I don't think Arn is super old. He's probably in his 40s here, which is still quite a few years left in the tank. Obviously, Flair went until forever. His body has told him it is physically impossible. You will get paralyzed. So there's a little bit to it. And I love Bobby Heenan's very quick send-off. It is emotional. It's beautiful. Bobby Heenan clearly loves and admires him, as do we. It's fantastic.
It's great.
Yes.
Hour number 3. And Bobby has joined us on commentary as the Nitro girls dance us into another hour. It's beautiful. We get a Sting video package with the young boy talking video package. Yeah. Which I'm sure, which is kind of a famous one. I think people know that one.
Well, it works really well. It works really well the first time when they did the whole thing where, like, you know, he's stalking NWO and it doesn't work because they just repeated it, but there's no point for it this time. That's why it doesn't work this time. It's like, why?
It's at Clash, they had it go over if I'm remembering it correctly, it wasn't like a video package, though. It was like at the event, right? They play it over the loudspeakers. And then Sting's there. Is that the Vulture? Is that when we have the Vulture?
Yes. And that works really well in that setting. But now doing it as a vignette, like, we've already seen it, so it doesn't hit the same way.
And now it's a video package with just that laid over it.
Yes.
So that's what that is. Stevie Richards versus Damien.
Yes.
Poor Stevie. I know what's going to happen here. Tell me, Joseph.
This is horrible. I do have blogs or Scott's blog of doom on here. He doesn't like it. Scott's, not Scott Kaufman, Scott of Scott's blog of doom. I agree with you. It's not very good. Before he comes out to before he gets into the ring, Damien gets DDT'd by Raven. Raven throws him in the ring. Now, during this, Stevie Richards, I think, is on one of the corners and he's like celebrating stuff. So him and the ref are not paying attention. They don't see this happen. He gets rolled into the ring. Stevie Richards looks at him and he's confused by what's going on. And then for some inexplicable reason, Stevie Richards decides to perform CPR on Damien, which I kind of get what they were going for, but I just didn't think it quite worked exactly. And then Raven steps in the ring and he slaps Stevie Richards and he's like, pin him, just freaking pin him. And so he does, and then they win. And it's like, okay. I didn't like it. I gave this a D.
I kind of like it. It's goofy enough.
Okay.
Right. As you said, Raven hits with the DDT. Stevie, he's like over. He was like, he wasn't paying attention.
Yes.
He turns around and he sees Damien on the ground. He thinks Damien has had a medical incident. He gets down and he like listens for a heartbeat. And then he starts doing CPR. I kind of like it. It's silly. And then Raven's like, no, you idiot.
Yeah.
Pin him.
I'll give you that.
But really, it's just a vehicle for Raven to abuse Stevie more, which I'm not really a fan of, especially
because they already did the whole, like, I'm not going to let you treat me like that thing. And then he keeps treating him like it. Like, why? Why is it still going on?
It keeps happening. And I don't think there's ever going to be a real finish to it because at some point, Stevie goes back to ECW and we never really get a conclusion. Correct. So that's fun. But what is fun is Dean Malenko has some nice thoughts about Arn. So that's nice too. Again, everyone's just talking about how great he is.
Yeah.
And
well, presumably Dean Malenko has nice thoughts about Arn because Dean Malenko can't bully Arn. Because because he's got tenure over Dean Malenko.
Also, Arn just spine buster a dude. Like,
Arn. If Dean tried any of that shit on Arn would put him through the fucking ground. Yeah.
Yeah. We love us some Arn because Arn legitimately seems like a good guy.
Yeah.
Who also just wouldn't let stuff like that slide. And I respect that. I respect that. After that, though, we've got an important moment.
We do.
Probably the most important moment.
Probably weekly. Yeah.
The whole episode. Yeah. Lee Marshall, 1-800-COLLECT. We got the road report from Milwaukee. Do you know the joke or do you need to tell it for you?
I do know the joke. I remember this joke. They're in Milwaukee. What is in Milwaukee except Packers fans who go by the term cheeseheads, and they never wanted to be called Wheezeheads, which gets an A+, but I do want to talk about this a little bit further. This joke is also written on Scott's blog of Doom, but I did remember it. And he says, this is his exact thing. Road report with Lee Marshall in Milwaukee as Green Bay does not want to be known as Wheezeheads. That's a stretch even for him. Scott, I was with you. Scott's from Scott's blog of Doom. I was with you up until this point. You're insane. It's Lee Marshall. He's fantastic. There's no such thing as a stretch for Lee Marshall. I love it. Gets an A+.
The dumber,
the better. 100%.
Yes. We gotta have it.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta have it. And what we didn't need to have is our next segment, because Big Bubba is back.
Yes.
And he has a lot to say.
Yes.
And do you want to talk about this or you want me to fill you in?
I do remember the gist of this, which is that he is now going by Ray Traylor, his real name. He's like, I'm a man. Yes. I am not a gimmick. My name is Ray Traylor. That's who I am. I think he calls himself Flesh and Blood and stuff like that. But specifically, there's a line in here where he talks about, like making mistakes in his life, thinking the NWO would help him. They betrayed him. He got hurt. They left him basically for dead. And on top of that, he got fired via FedEx, which is a fucking amazing line. Because if you know your wrestling history, this is something Bischoff did regularly. He would fire people via FedEx. He would not have the balls to fire them in person. It was a notorious Bischoff thing. I believe he did it to Austin. He did it to Foley. Like, this is a thing Bischoff did. I don't know why. He could not look a dude in the eyes and fire him, but he could never get it done. Wild. So Ray Traylor takes that. Ray Traylor is, I was almost about to call him a student of the game, but that's not really the right phrase. Like, he's been around the block. So he's been fired before. He's been fired by WWF. He's been fired by WCW. He's gone back and forth. He knows how this works. He also, because he knows how this works, knows how it should work properly. And I'm sorry, as much as we say that Eric Bischoff is a net positive in wrestling, and we do stand by that, firing somebody via FedEx is the lowest That would be for kids who don't really understand what that's like. If in case you're watching this, that'd be like you fired someone via text. It's just absolutely spineless. It is not a good look. So that's interesting. That's interesting that he brings it up and brings into the story. I don't know if that was approved, but he did it, and there we go.
I had a friend who broke up with his girlfriend via text, and it did not go well.
I will say same. They might have been more than a friend. They were not me, to be clear. But you do know them. You do know them. And I thought it was bad when it happened. Yes, you know them. You not only you said well just as a reaction, you know them well. You actually do really know this person.
Well, we're gonna have to talk about this after the show. Tune in to Monday Night Wars After Dark, where we tell all of people's deep dark secrets.
I have my own deep dark secrets. We don't need to be getting into other people's.
Yes. Don't we all? We all have stuff we'd rather not receive FedEx packages about.
Oh,
but anyway, that leads us in to our next match, which is Ray Traylor versus Prince Iaukea. And Prince Iaukea kind of done because he's about to get jobbed out to Ray Traylor. Tell me, Joseph.
We both like Prince Iaukea. I don't really know why they decided that he wasn't a thing. Like, is he perfect? No, of course not. But he's not bad. And they really just have decided he is not important. I mean, there's certain people that like I kind of get. Like Joe Gomez was never going to be a guy, right? Renegade was never really going to be a guy. First off, Renegade was set for failure regardless. Like, there's people that they've definitely gone with that don't work. I think Prince Iaukea works, and they just pulled the plug on him. I just don't quite get it. And you're right, he gets jobbed out. He gets the boss man slam, which is technically like a running sidewalk slam or something like that. I don't remember exactly the right term. But he gets jobbed out very quickly. Ray Traylor, to be fair, I do think Ray Traylor needed to win this match. You can't talk that much smack and then go out and lose your match. But Prince Iaukea is definitely on a downward slope. I don't even think he has another title run in him, whether it's cruiserweight or TV. I think he's pretty much done. Like he's reached his peak in WCW.
Yeah, I don't really think we see him. We might see him again, but not much longer. This is not his last match. We get another nice moment. We get a nice moment before we get a not nice moment. We get one more nice moment of Arn. This time with J.J. Dillon saying some nice things. We go to the break. And we come back to a doozy.
Yes.
Mean Gene talking about Arn and how important he is. And he wants the Horseman to come out because he wants to talk with them.
Absolutely.
He wants to have a conversation.
Give him a send-off on Arn's night.
Yeah. Except it is not the Horseman. It is the NWO dressed as the Four Horsemen. 6 is Ric Flair. Conan is Mongo. And that's how we start.
Yes.
We don't see the others yet.
Yes.
But Joseph, you want to get in on some of this?
Oh, absolutely. I didn't even need notes for this. I don't need notes for this. So, okay. So there's so many angles to attack this from. So 6 starts as Ric Flair cutting a promo. Gene immediately is like, this is embarrassing. I will not be part of this at all. And Gene skedaddles. He gets out of there. 6 and Conan as Flair and Mongo. And by the way, I will say, Conan looks fantastic as Mongo. Like, he legitimately looks great as Mongo. It's fucking great. They go into the ring. Flair, that's how convincing they were. 6
so
as
believable.
Flair, starts doing literally the promo from last week. The entire promo where they're talking about, that they need an answer and all that stuff. He introduces Kurt Hennig, who is not Kurt Hennig, it's Buff Bagwell instead. And Buff Bagwell, I love Buff Bagwell's outfit. He is dressed just like Kurt Hennig, but he's got all of this, looks like himself, but he's also got a blonde ponytail on. It's the most absurd thing. And the others have really made themselves look like their counterparts. Conan actually looks fantastic as Mongo. Six looks ridiculous as Flair, but you know what he's going for. He's got a fake nose. He's got the wig and everything. The most absolutely like least effort is Buff Bagwell as Kurt Hennig. He comes out. He's doing the whole, you know, the towel, throw it behind his back and catch it.
Gum chewing.
Goes, gum chewing, all that. Comes in the ring and they do the exact same kind of promo. You know, we need an answer. We need an answer right now, blah, blah. Kurt Hennig says, you know, no, I'm not ready to give you an answer. And he goes, I thought you'd say that. So I'd like to introduce to you someone who I think can talk to you. It's Arn Anderson, except it's not Arn Anderson. It's Kevin Nash dressed as Arn Anderson. And this one is more absurd than Six dressed as Flair. It is, he's got like a denim like shirt that the sleeves cut off. He's got pillows underneath it to make him look really fat. He's got a bald cap on with bits of hair all over it. He does have the Arn glasses, to be fair. He has the Arn glasses, and he keeps walking out and being like this and doing the four and everything. And he goes out and they do an identical promo to last week's, but Kevin Nash, like this might be one of the best Kevin Nash moments ever. Kevin Nash is so happy doing this, and he's talking about how he's not gonna, you know, he's not giving up giving up a spot to Kurt Hennig, not a liver spot, not my dog spot, and he keeps making all these jokes about spot, but my spot. And they do the exact same thing, and then Kurt Hennig says it would be an honor, and they shake hands and they're making fun of him. They take off all of their overshirts and they're all wearing NWO shirts with 4 horsemen on the back, but instead of horses, they're donkeys to say 4 jackasses. That's the whole joke. The crazy thing about this is, I think, perfect. It is a great, it is brilliant, it is fantastic storytelling. The problem with it is this is your episode to give Arn a send-off, and that's where it doesn't work. It is incredibly disrespectful of Arn. And next week, we'll find out how much that the 4 horsemen did not like it, in particular one person, which I can't wait to talk about. I do have notes on that, by the way. But it is wild. It is so well done. And the other like angle to come from this one is I remember watching this episode live with you. So we did this thing, pulling back the curtain. We were watching Nitro, just the two of us were just watching Nitro. And then one day when we decided, this is actually the episode where we decided to talk about, would it be cool to go and understand what was happening week to week? And then the podcast was birthed from this episode because
we absolutely outraged.
Yes. Because Scott really wanted to know what would it be like to see what was going on in each week. And so that birthed this whole thing. So then what we did, we stopped watching Nitro and we started on our private watch, catching up through Raw and getting to this point. And once we got to this point, we could bounce back and forth again and start watching. So every once in a while, Scott would say, do we even know where we were on Nitro? Like when we get there, do we know? And I would go, I know exactly where we were. I know exactly the episode because it's so memorable. And I would remind him and he would be outraged again. When we watched this the first time, Scott wanted to flip every table in his house. He was so angry about this, and it's fantastic.
I love Arn.
Yes, I agree.
Because, well, I agree on review.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I've gotten my absolute outrage, out of the way, this is fantastic.
Yes,
this is fantastic heat. This is so good. This is what this is what heels should do. But this is Arn's night.
Yes.
They absolutely bury him.
Yes.
The things they say are crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Arn's been in town because there's an unpaid beer tab. He knew he had to quit because he lost feeling in his beer hand. Yeah. He was at a bar. You know, he knew it was a problem because he must have left the bar and someone slapped him on the back and he felt a chill go down his spine.
There's a real quick. So if you remember when they did the actual promo, the actual send off for Arn the previous week, Flair is very clearly crying. So her answer to that is Six has like hoses in his sleeve, his arm sleeve on his right sleeve, and he's going like this, and water is shooting into his face, and he's pretending like he's crying, and it looks like he's crying, and it's the funniest, most horrible thing. No matter what Arn says, he is Arn being Kevin Nash. He's sitting there crying the whole time. It is hilarious.
There's another line about how no matter how drunk he was, the 8 people that bought tickets got a hell of a show. It's insane.
Yes.
And the crowd is on the verge of rioting. They're outraged too. They are booing so loud. They are so mad. They are throwing things. And the two issues with this are that it's on Arn's night. This should have been next week. Like maybe this is how you open next week's show.
I think because next week is the go home show, I think every one of these events that happens should have happened a week sooner. Because what happens next week needs to happen with Flair. It needs to happen to make you prepared. I think every one of these things should have been pulled in 1 week and it would have been perfect. If you just let the Arn the Arn actually send off happened 2 weeks ago, we're going to make the show about you last week, and then this week is when you do this, it's perfect. Perfect.
Yeah. The second thing is I'm not sure how much the Horsemen were aware of what was going to happen.
No way they were sure.
Because, not to spoil next week, I have never seen Ric Flair that angry. Like, he's real angry.
To give you guys some inside baseball, I drew for this episode, you'll see on the title, I drew Kevin Nash as Arn, which is just wild. And for next week, I was like, if I'm going to do that, I have to do Flair. I have never drawn someone more angry in my life. It is insane drawing Flair.
It's not Ric Flair gimmick angry.
No.
Dude is mad.
Yeah.
Dude could boil the ocean. It's crazy.
Yes.
But yeah, again, everyone is mad. The audience is in an uproar. Tony, Bobby, and Mike Tenay are just gobsmacked by the whole thing. Even Bobby says it's a disgrace. Our heel commentator is like, nah, this is bad. This is bad. It's perfect. It's different. It should have been on a different night, but it is fantastic heel work. It is great heat.
Yeah. I think if I were to grade this, it would be simultaneously an A and an F. It is perfectly done. It's on the wrong night.
Yeah, I agree. But that leads us to our next match, which is, I don't know if it was supposed to be like this, but it turns into just an absolute battle royale chaos.
Yes.
I think it's supposed to be Chris Jericho versus Chavo Guerrero. Chavo. But Eddie comes out and says, Chavo, you disgrace the family. You should give me your spot. Scotty Riggs comes out and says, no, it should be me. And then everybody in the entire cruiserweight division shows up, and it just turns into a melee.
It starts off making sense. So what Eddie's saying is not only that he's raised the family, but he also says, remember like last March or whenever it was, I gave you my shot as like an olive branch to you. This week, you should give me your shot. And Chavo's like, no. And I got to say, I kind of agree with Eddie. Like, that's fair is fair. But
I mean, you know,
then to your point, Sky Riggs comes out. He says, no, it should be me. And then like everybody cruiserweight comes out and they end up having a battle royal. And it's not a battle royal. It's not a real battle royal. There's no winner to this. They just all brawl. And then like they'll throw someone over the rope and you're like, oh, it's a battle royal. So they're out, right? Not really. There's no real conclusion to this. This is absolutely wild and insane. It's not good.
Yeah, I guess Jericho technically wins it because Eddie hits him in the face with the belt.
Okay.
And I guess that's I guess that's the DQ. So
Okay.
Chris Jericho wins and keeps the title. Because I don't know if the match even starts. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. Ultimo Dragon is there. Alex Wright is there. I wrote people down. Ayakea, Damien, Cyclope, Billy Kidman. Obviously, we've already mentioned Chavo and Eddie. Scotty Riggs is there. It's nuts.
There's some
I don't know.
people that we've never even like seen on Nitro that are in this. Like they like Super
Yeah.
Astro. He's not part of this. Like there is a lot of people that it's like, dude, we've never even seen you. What are you doing?
Yeah. It's nuts. But I guess technically Chris Jericho wins by DQ. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
After that, though, we get another Arn moment where Giant talks about how important Arn is, which is completely pointless now.
Yes.
Like it's like
Yes.
Like that moment's gone.
You kind
That
of feel
moment's
like
gone.
they should, if anything, maybe they should have just ended the night with that segment.
Yes.
Because at least then it's like, okay, it kind of works, and then you can go to next week. And next week should have started with the Flair thing that we kind of alluded to.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, continue.
Yeah. Well, and that leads us to our main event.
No, it does not.
We get they come out. They all come out. I'm getting there.
Okay. All right. I trust you.
This is when you're talking about how Eric Bischoff comes out, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
trust
all kind of related because they all come out and then the match starts because the NWO is the guys. But I'll let you go because you clearly want to talk about it. That leads us to our main event. NWO music comes out, but it's Eric Bischoff, and he's got some things to say about everything going on. So tell me, Joseph.
Him and Hogan do the, we're not scared of Sting thing, all that stuff, blah, blah, blah. Sting doesn't come out. He has no business. He doesn't care. And then what they do is they bring in JJ Dillon. They call JJ Dillon out to explain, like, how do you think you're going to pull this off? And then they beat up JJ Dillon. And again, we've gone through so many weeks of this. JJ Dillon is like, I remember when we were watching this together, me being like pretty excited about JJ Dillon coming. It's like, because finally we're going to get some order. We've never gotten order. And NWO just says whatever
He's
they
no
want.
Sergeant Slaughter.
Absolutely not a Sergeant Slaughter. They do whatever they want. They beat him up. Hogan leg drops him a number of times. They spray paint him. It's all bad. I can't stand any of it.
Well, after that, Scott Hall, Randy Savage, and Liz go out to the ring for the match, which is Lex Luger and DDP versus Scott Hall and Randy Savage, which is 8 minutes long. Tell me about this one, Joseph.
You might be surprised to find in the last few weeks that somehow DDP or Lex Luger have screwed the other one over unintentionally. That surely won't happen tonight, but it does. And Lex Luger hits his, I don't know if he calls it bionic elbow. It's his bionic elbow specifically is Dusty Rhodes, but he calls it some sort of elbow. He hits him with his elbow thing, and then DDP ends up losing. And this is going to go into next week. And to be fair, they kind of do something interesting with that because they get away from Mach and and I almost said Razor Ramon and Scott Hall. But right now it's still kind of like, what's going on? It's kind of annoying because it's like, again, this is Arn's night and you've made it about the NWO. I think I kind of would have been okay in retrospect if the final segment was the Kevin Nash, that whole thing, because then yes, it'd be about the NWO, but that's honestly really creative. Like that was a really good segment in retrospect. This is just a horrible way to end the show.
Yeah, I think it would work if you ended it that way. The crowd would just be at the ramparts, hurling stuff. The announcer would be talking about how disgusting this is. Cut it.
Yeah.
Just, we're done. We can't, like how terrible to ruin Arn's night. Yeah. Well, and then also this ends, it's not a clean finish, right? Because we have Lex racking Savage and we have Hall covering DDP and Nick Patrick counts Hall covering DDP, and not that Randy Savage is tapping out.
Yeah.
And it ends with Luger complaining that Nick Patrick was wrong Lex is the legal man,
Mhm.
the count was wrong. So we're back to, is Nick Patrick in the NWO? What?
Yeah.
They're doing it again.
There's
And that's
one
it.
there's one they will do next week. It's not Nick Patrick, it's a different person. Are they in the NWO? And I almost threw something because it's like, how are we doing this again?
So yeah, it was a terrible way to end the night. Just, you're right. They ended up making it all about the NWO. The night ended on the NWO, and it sucks. This is Arn's night.
Yeah.
I'm mad again. So I guess they won because nothing
Yeah.
else is on. And
But it's not
the
good.
Arn, yeah, I mean, like and that's, and it's terrible too because the Arn thing is really good heat. It
Yeah.
really is. After, on the second watch, now I know it's coming, so you didn't have the genuine outrage that I had the first time, because legitimately,
Yes. He
I
was
was
so
mad.
angry. Yeah.
I was like, "How dare you?"
Mhm.
Arn is a legend,
Mhm.
which is exactly what you want from someone watching this for the first time. I'm pretty sure I watched it back in the day because I was starting to remember it as we were getting close, but it still hit me with, like, how just mean-spirited it
Yeah.
was, all the comments about he's a drunk and no one, and he's not good, and kind of all that stuff. That's what you want. It worked. It worked perfectly. The audience hated it. Folks watching at home, me, hated it. That's what you want. But not on Arn's night, or at least not in the middle
Right.
of Arn's night.
Right.
Let it end, kind of let it kind of crescendo to the high note of, this is Arn's night.
Mhm.
Even maybe make this, don't do an NWO match for the night
Yeah, that'd
to
be
end
good.
it. Do some kind of like Arn Memories match or something like
Yeah.
that. Do something, some special main event for Arn. Like, this is a match that Arn picked out between
Right.
two of his favorites or something,
Mhm.
or have the Horsemen do it. Have the Horsemen have the match,
Right.
and then have the NWO knock them down or something, and then do their thing, whatever. Like, there's a way to do it, and they didn't do it very well,
Right.
and it's unfortunate because if you're gonna get that kind of heat off of Arn, do it right.
Yes, I agree.
So, what do you got anything more to say, Joseph? Who won?
I mean,
WWE, I guess.
yeah, WWE wins by, via default, but, like, last week, I think they had a pretty decent show. This week's show, like, in retrospect, the Kevin Nash thing is actually really good, but
Mhm.
most of the show is
Yeah.
boring. Most of the show is very boring, and 3 hours of this is a slog to get through, and I think at the start of the new year, they are gonna go to 3 hours, and I am not looking forward to that, and we will have to find a way to reduce the amount we talk. I can't believe we talked an hour and 2 minutes at this point on just this. This is wild. It is it is a lot.
And you thought it was gonna be 20 minutes, man, but that Arn
Bro,
thing,
I had no notes. But I remember that shit off the dome, man.
we put on a pretty good show despite you
Yeah,
not having notes.
right?
Oh, and
Also,
in the comments,
thank you to
"This
Scott's
sucked."
Blog of Doom. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Scott. Who apparently is also kind of doing what we're doing. He's doing week by week. Although it looks like I think the one like I said, I clicked on the one that you were watching just so I could
Right.
kind of keep track of where you were too.
Yeah.
And I think it was like, I already closed it, but I think it was 2019. So he did it a while ago. But if you
Yeah.
want to read text versions of it, I feel like we should give him a shout out since he saved our skins. Scott's
Absolutely.
Blog of Doom's got text versions of everything going on. There you go.
Although I will say, I don't know if you need to actually read any of his stuff because he doesn't like Lee Marshall, and that's just kinda unforgivable.
That's true. He's wrong, but he
Yes.
is wrong.
Yes.
So come here if you want just absolutely correct takes on
100
everything.
100%.
Like, comment, subscribe, smash all the buttons. Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys.